Hey, how's it going, Kenny?
Hi, Jim. Hey, I just had lunch with Steve Brown,
Oh,
and
how's Steve doing?
yesterday we went to let's see, a guy from what's his name? Can't remember the guy. The guy who gossips a lot. He knows a lot of entertainment celebrities. Um, we'll get the book. He gave a talk about. He called a name dropping at an institute he established. Matthew Matty Mazda wrote it for him. Can't remember the guy's name. I think David, Frank, David, I don't know. He's got a show on WBAI where he talks about people he met over the last 90 years in show business.
Oh, what's his name? The gay guy who does the show on
Dave.
Saturday. David Rottenberg.
Yeah. Something
Where
like that.
where was he talking?
He was talking at this institute that he established, which is sort of like a halfway house for people who just got out of jail,
Oh, all the way up in Harlem, right?
right? You know about that.
Yeah. I haven't really. I never was close to Rothenberg, but so it was useful. It was interesting what you experienced.
What?
It was interesting.
It was
That's you had to go up to 135th Street, I guess, right? Can you hear me? I can't hear you.
Well, me and Grace went because Maddie took us there. So you're asking where it is?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
can't, it's like, I think it was 60. I get mixed up because also went to some concerts. Oh, now I remember. It's up in Harlem
Yeah, yeah,
on
it's up in it's up.
138th Street or something.
Yeah, it's near Riverside Drive, if I recall.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't been there in a long time.
Yeah. Well, so he gave a talk. It was kind of, I don't know, it was all right. Just dropping names, this celebrity, that celebrity, the other celebrity, and so forth. But he's a good natured fellow. He's very
Well, he
jovial.
must be in his 90s, right?
I would say, yeah, that's what it looks like. But he's alert and everything. But then
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
somebody's told me that he's done that many times. Oh, Steve Brown told me he's done that kind of presentation where he goes over all the years he spent and who he hung out with and little secret stories about some celebrities. But that makes good for air. That's good air sometimes.
Yeah, yeah. He's knowledgeable about Broadway and the theater business and the musical business in New York. I mean, he's been doing that ever since the 50s, I guess.
Yeah.
Uh, he grew up in New Jersey, if I recall.
Oh, I don't know where he lives. I don't, we got a book from him. That's all.
Okay.
And and then there. But I sent this to some people. Are you into classical music at all?
Me?
Yeah, you.
Well,
Do
when
you
I was a
listen to
kid,
classical?
of course, yeah, of course I listen to classical music.
Okay, well, so there's this other thing called the Kaufman School of Music, and they had, I think several people have gone to this. Steve Brown told me he was at it last year.
Oh
They
yeah.
have these children piano players, and they had like 12 of them that had won a bunch of contests.
Oh,
So it was a recital of all of these kids playing. They're just fantastic kids,
where was
and
that?
that was at the Kaufman School. I just sent out an alert because that's over, and it was fun.
Oh,
But they're coming up with in July, starting July 8th, concerts of individual pianist players doing a concert, one different guy on
oh,
each night, and it's $10, and that's on 67th Street.
yeah, I know where it is. Yeah, I've been over there, West 67th. I know the place.
Yeah, so that's all. So I could send you a link on that if you're interested. I
No,
thought it was very enjoyable because it's accessible. It's not like $55 or something.
yeah. No, I know about that. It's around the corner from Juilliard.
That's right.
Yeah, I've been to things over there. But that's yeah, fun. That's fun. Yeah, send it to me. I'll be curious to see what's going on there in terms of music.
Yeah, yeah, and it's low key. They're not. I don't know, and it's not like prima donnas.
Yeah. Well, a lot of talented kids in New York, um, particularly in music. But
Yeah,
anyway,
yeah, they do a lot for kids in New York regarding music. And let me pull up and see what we're going to talking about. No one else has come yet, but usually people come late if they come. I don't know. I know nobody came last time. I don't. Doesn't matter that much to me. But let me just see. Where's my thing? Oh, there it is. Oh, and I'm running. You know what? This is an interesting thing you should know about. Um, if you have Wi-Fi at home, obviously, right?
right.
Okay, but if you're somewhere where you don't have Wi-Fi, you can hotspot from your phone.
Hmm.
And that's what I've been doing.
Oh,
Because,
wow.
yeah, because I got a special thing with T-Mobile, so they give me 250 gigabytes a month for the hotspot. So that's enough to do most everything I would do
Hmm.
with my laptop because I don't have Wi-Fi where I'm staying. You know.
Oh, you don't have Wi-Fi in your brother's apartment?
Yeah, he doesn't. He doesn't live here, so I mean,
Oh,
he's hardly ever here, so
oh.
he doesn't pay for him to have cable or Wi-Fi. You know, that's, but it works fine. And if you're on a family plan and you pay for this extra thing, which is like 15 bucks a month,
Hmm.
uh, you get the same 250 for the just for the hotspot,
Hmm.
250 kilobytes a month for each member of the family. So we have four, well, at hand, three different SIM cards, me, Grace, and her laptop,
Hmm.
so that, you can bounce around between them. And that's all. And then I was just stalling you while I pulled up my spreadsheet, I mean, my invite. I got, what do you think all this stuff coming out of the, whoops, that reminds me. All this stuff coming out of the,
What?
stuff coming out of SCOTUS.
Oh, well, yeah, it's interesting. Well, we'll see what happens. I mean, the birthright stuff, that's a pretty hot potato.
I know,
And then the FCC decision, that's quite significant. That gives him a lot of power to go in and mess with the regulatory agencies, which I'm sure he'll do.
you
I
mean
mean, he
his
doesn't give a
ability,
fuck. I mean,
yeah, his ability to discharge anybody
yeah,
without
he'll
cause.
do he'll do it and ask questions later. Doesn't care.
Yeah, I know. I mean, that's what he's been doing. He
Yeah,
says, oh, well, let's see if they bother to implement, use some law and stop me. I got it. I want to get this done, and I'm not going to try to go through Congress. I don't have time for that.
I agree. No,
I'll
he's
just
not.
make a
He's not gonna.
declaration.
Yeah, he's not gonna pay attention to that kind of shit.
Yeah, he doesn't care. It was funny. Just before you came on, I was listening to, I don't remember who the guy's comments were. Let's see who it was. He's concerned that this guy, let me see, you probably know who he is. One second. Let me see where it is. Oh, I don't think I'm going to find it. He was, oh, wait, maybe this is it. Yeah, this is it. Professor Tribe. That's the
Lawrence
guy's
Tribe.
name.
Lawrence Tribe at Harvard.
I don't know who he is, but
Yeah,
he's
he's a law professor at Harvard.
okay. There you go. But he must have done something useful also. But anyhow, he's saying because it was only what was it, 6-3? So
It was
there were
a
like,
close vote. Yeah, there was 5-4.
oh, 5-4. So there were like, instead of
Kavanaugh gave an opening to basically have Congress change the legislation. So they're going to go in and try to modify it with legislation in the House and probably try to pass it in the Senate. So that's I think we're going to have. It's not the end of this issue. That's for sure.
right, that's his concern. Like, yeah, you stopped it now, but there's enough intention to alter it. that they'll try to go through legislature or
Oh yeah,
whatever.
yeah. He doesn't. He's going to do that. So
Or the president can uh, make an executive order that if the baby, when born here, starts within a week can sing the Star Spangled Banner, then he's a citizen. And then people are going to say, "What are you crazy?" He says, "I don't care.
yeah,
Call
no,
me
no.
crazy."
He's not going to give up on this. He's going to keep on pushing it. That's for sure.
Yeah. So now, how? I mean, the major issue is, uh, you know, vacation. I forgot what they call the nickname for it. They come over and they have the baby, and then they go back to Japan or Tokyo, or China.
They
I
call that birth tourism or something like that.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. So actually, in my 4 units, the units I have in LA, that actually happened to me once.
No kidding.
Yeah, yeah, I rented to this nice woman, sort of pleasant, and maybe I didn't think of it, but she was, a little bit overweight, and she wasn't there at the last 5 minutes. She was there for about like a month or more,
Hmm.
and then soon she had the kid, and then she poof, gone. You know, birth tourists like. So, but the interesting thing I hear from different news commentators is it also applies to territories. So if somebody comes from Japan and goes to Guam on the day that they're going to deliver, then the kid's born in a U.S. territory, and that makes him a citizen.
Hmm.
Because, like Puerto Rico and I guess other territories, I didn't know. I know Puerto Rico, but I guess Guam and Virgin Islands and some other, not commonly known territories. That's if you're born there, you're a citizen. I mean, didn't that happen with the guy who ran for office? He was born in Panama. You
Oh,
know, the guy who ran against Obama the first time. You know who I'm talking about? The Republican he was in prison in Vietnam.
oh, McCain.
Yeah, so I think he was born in Panama. You know, which at the time was I don't know why, but they said, well, he's qualified to be a president.
Yeah, but the whole thing is so insignificant. I mean, the amount of people that actually do this are very small in number, and they just want to make it into a big stink for their own political purposes. I think it's between 5 and 30,000 birthrights like that a year, and who knows what it is this year. So it's all bullshit. They just want to, use it as a further emotional tool to scare their base. Oh my God, the Democrats are bringing in all these women who want to get pregnant and, create Democratic voting babies, and we got to throw them out. And it's all bullshit. It's just ridiculous. It's such a waste of time.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know.
I know there's lots of things that are considered, either side considers a waste of time. But, I found one that I really was, I did some research. I actually looked some stuff up,
Oh,
but that was a different topic. Mandami, did I pronounce that correctly?
Mom Donnie, yeah.
Mamdani, right?
Right.
There was an article saying he had made a promise of spending 125 million or something to support trans treatment in hospitals,
All right.
and but he can't do that. So he's allocated I think it was 12.1 million for hospitals to take care of treatment of transgender people who want to be transgender and need an operation
Mm.
or okay. And I'm like, excuse me, that's no, I'm recording this, so this could be used to get me banned from the city or something. It's basically cosmetic. What if I said I want to get blue eyes, otherwise I'm going to be interbulated and I might commit suicide? I need blue eyes. So then that's, you would say that's ridiculous. That's cosmetic. Or I need a nose job. That's cosmetic. Well, if I need boobs and I need the correct hormones so I can change into a woman, that's cosmetic. And there's a big thing that I looked up immediately, which is prosthetics. So there's like they have to do estimates because there's not much adequate reporting on it. But I put the links in the invite. It's, let's say, somewhere between 12 to 15,000 New York City residents who need prosthetics but don't get them because they can't afford it. Because prosthetics, let's say like an artificial arm or leg, it could be like $60,000 plus a lot of overhead in terms of installing it and maintaining it. So I would consider that a much higher priority or better good for the society to assist people who need prosthetics than to assist people who are unsatisfied with the gender that they were born with.
Well, it's such like how many people to get all hot and bothered about people with sex changes is ridiculous. It's not like it's an epidemic. It's just ridiculous. It's again a total waste of time. There are bigger fish to fry than running after.
Why is he spending money on it then?
Well, 12 million is certainly not a lot of money. He
That's right.
also he also got elected by gay people. So, I mean, 12 million is a lot different than spending 120 million. I
Yeah.
mean, he's not stupid. I mean, it's not exactly the most popular issue in the world for voters to deal with. I mean, even Democratic voters are uneasy with this issue. So, I just, again, it's like, who cares about, I mean, it's so ridiculous to worry about transsexual people. It's such a waste of time.
To worry about him at all, right?
Yeah, like if somebody wants to cut his penis off, God bless him.
As
You know,
long as he's over 14.
well, whatever. Yeah, if they're an adult and they want to change their sex, I don't care. I mean,
Right. Nobody does.
I certainly would have been very negative 50 years ago to something like that. 55 years ago, I've been very homophobic, uh, very outspoken and profane about it. But I don't care at this point in my life. 50 years later, to me, it's like, who gives a shit? If somebody wants to do that, it's their own damn business.
Uh-huh.
Who
Well,
cares?
yes, that could be your viewpoint, but the real thing that comes around is what's the public opinion? Like, in other words, the government is supposed to operate on the basis of
Well,
the popularity of the public, the majority of the public, not
yeah.
what a
Well,
professor says or something.
the reason they bring it up is they know that a lot of people are uncomfortable with it. But like, is Trump bringing up the fact that he is enriching himself several times this time around? Does he bring up the fact that his
Well,
personal family, along with Lutnick? I mean, it's just none of that's brought up. And
no,
then
but
look at what just happened with that airplane today. That
yeah,
airplane gets its car gave him. He decided it's going to be donated to his foundation. So give me a break with his,
right.
his behavior. It just is like ridiculous.
Well, that's fine, but do you think I don't see much coverage on that? I think it's outrageous.
What on what?
Underneath emollient and
A
all of that.
monument, a monument. So there's a lot of coverage. They're screaming about it on all the networks. I mean, not probably not Fox, but there's certainly a lot of coverage about it. I mean, hell.
Really?
Oh yeah, I was just watching stuff today on MSNBC, but again, you'd expect that from those guys.
Yeah. But what about on, let's say, we basically watch, well, Grace watches The View every day, but when she's not doing something else. But
Right.
more reliably, we watch NPR's nightly news. I forget, I think that's what they call it.
Oh, you listen to NPR?
No, no, not, I'm sorry, not NPR. It's on TV. It's not NPR. It's public, whatever, the public show, PBS.
Hmm.
Very good show.
Hmm. Oh, you watch the
Nightly show.
BBC?
Oh yeah, very good, very objective.
Oh, okay.
Not no name calling and just somewhat slanted, but you can expect that. And but I haven't heard much complaint about all of the family assignments that he's running it like a feudal system and putting his friends and family. Somebody told me he just picked a guy to do the pool thing that he wanted to do.
Huh.
On no bids.
Wow.
Just hey Fred, figure out how to do this and make the pool blue.
Right.
By the way, I need a new coat for winter. I would appreciate that. Something. It gets kickbacks and so forth. I agree. It's disgraceful,
Hmm.
and of course it happens in most governments around the world, but it's not considered acceptable here. And there's critical remarks. There's lots of critical remarks about the Clintons. Nonprofits and how they got funded by different organizations that wanted to get influence, their political influence. So they donated to the Clinton foundations. Things like that. That's common. And there you go. So, but I'm surprised. You're right. How does he get away with that? Well, he can do it, and then he gets sued, but how do you stop it? The legislature has to stop it, or you have to you know vote him out, impeach him,
Hmm.
and maybe they'll do that 2 days after they win the House. I'm
Oh, who
guaranteed
knows?
that that's obviously going to happen, right?
Oh yeah. Well, we'll see what happens. It's pretty crazy. Did you watch those guys who climbed up on the Empire State Building?
Yeah, yeah. That was but that's just a lark. That's like a guy who walked across between the twin towers.
Right. Oh yeah, that was crazy. Yeah.
You know, it's just for yes, a lot of people do that. It's like, did you ever watch the guys who jump off a mountain and they fly? They don't have a
Oh
wing.
yeah,
They
those
don't have
guys are those guys are totally nuts. Yeah, I've watched those guys. They're they're
yeah,
they're, they're totally out of their minds.
it's crazy, and so there's things like that. No, I saw that. That wasn't that significant. I missed the whole gay pride parade, even though it was right in front of us because we went somewhere. We had another date at something that we did somewhere else. I don't even remember now. And where the hell did we go? I can't remember. It wasn't a museum. It was whatever. It was to visit somebody or something. I think it was. I don't know. Oh, it was the guy that I just told you, the guy who does the BAI, Dave Rosenblatt, whatever his name is,
Rothenberg.
Rothenberg. Yeah, and then we were talking with Steve. Well, you're still on the PNB, right?
No, I'm not on the PNB.
You gave up on it, or they kicked you
No,
out?
I didn't want to deal with them anymore. I had enough of them. I'm on the LSP, but I'm not going to run again. I decided not to.
But the LSB is more or less like what's that called? The community thing.
Community Advisory Board. Yeah. Well, they're the whole structure is so different due to these new bylaws. So I refuse to participate. Fuck them.
Yeah. So yeah, I understand that. So it may just die out. There hasn't been any correction, has there been a correction or improvement in the listenership?
No, not really. I mean, Henley claims there is, but I don't think the facts speak speak to that at all.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's what's going on there.
I mean, like, look how internet traffic and subscriptions and everything has knocked out TV channels, not just channels, but like networks.
Right, right.
So what can Little Pacifica considers going to happen? Same thing, you know.
Well, I think that what he's doing with ABC and they're threatening to pull the license of ABC. Pacifica is going to eventually get clobbered by these guys, and it's going to be like a footnote, given the fact that the entire institution has not really said anything about this for the past couple of years. I mean, I've been complaining about it for a couple of years now. None of these guys are saying a damn thing.
Wait, let me see. Is that me making noise?
They're making news, yeah.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I cut it off. So, you're talking about the decline in listenership?
There hasn't been any significant growth. I mean, there's the whole. They don't confront these issues. It's just ridiculous. It's absurd. Totally is. And I've had enough of fighting about it. They can stew in their own goddamn juice. Fuck 'em.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, there was always the fringe stuff that gave some kind of an audience, whether it was like psychic or
Yeah, they get well, even that stuff. I mean, why would anyone want to bother with them when they can go off on the internet and do social media and not have to waste their time with
you
all
get
the bullshit?
five times the audience, 10 times.
Well, yeah, eventually they don't have to have anybody but themselves to answer to. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. So you're doing that.
Yeah, I'm doing it, but I mean, I regret that I would prefer to be working with them, but that gives me some protection. But on the same time, the hell with it. I'm not going to go kiss their asses.
Yeah, and not only that though, but as you being the producer and everything, you got control about what you're going to say, where you're going to
Yeah,
go,
exactly.
where the topic is going
Yeah,
to.
exactly. I don't have to deal with them at all, which is I'm happy.
You don't need somebody's approval. You don't need any excuse for existing.
Right, right, exactly, exactly.
Oh, there's a phrase. It's like, I'm not looking for a license to survive.
Right,
I don't need your permission to take another breath.
right.
So, yeah. Have you, did you said you were going to run into some guys in Colombia or something who might know more about increasing exposure.
Haven't done that yet. I mean, it's you just got to plug away, and then I don't think there's any other choice but to just keep plugging away, and then
Yeah.
you just have to have consistency and keep a good high standard for what you're doing, and that's it. And just to be happy with what you're doing, enjoy what you're doing.
Yeah,
You know,
and yes, but also, I mean, sometimes it's very energetic people, but most of them have Facebook and Instagram and
yeah,
X, so they spread it around and then they try to get contact going between the things, and
right,
then also they pay for advertising to Google or
right,
to a friend who from the Philippines who can increase your hits, you know, which is a common thing to get it going. And I know somebody who does that and stuff, but I'm not. I don't. I'm not embarrassed because I don't. I don't really think I'm going to have any impact on the rest of the existence on this planet. So I'm not that excited about it. But I should be doing it. I should have done it because I know at least one guy who's been doing that. Shit, I got one of my tenants. There's a thing called Venter or Vented.
vented.
Yes, and it says, look, got some clothes you don't want? Take a picture and put it up on Vented, and you don't have to pay for shipping, and you'll get $5 or $50.
Hmm,
So she's been doing that because every time we go up into her room to fix the toilet or something, or unclog something, or fix the TV, or not the TV, the refrigerator, the apartment is just overwhelmed with clothes,
hmm,
dresses, everything, blankets. So she's just getting stuff from thrift stores and selling it through something Vented, or maybe there's some other websites like that. And she makes money, enough money to scrape by. It's an extra gig she's doing.
hmm.
Supposedly she has a job as a translator too. But I'm just saying that there's uh, there's ways where people can just function, on the internet. You're not looking for work on the internet. You're not going for any kind of a thing that says make money here, do this.
No.
But you could be a counselor. You could be a life coach. I know people who have therapists. That's what they call them. They don't have any licenses. They're just part
Hmm.
of a group. Find somebody who you want to talk to.
Hmm.
I've been thinking about doing that. Then I could call myself up and at least make some money by listening to what I have to say.
Hmm.
So, anything new with you? I mean, the stuff I'm putting up. Well, let me see if there was something else that I thought you should.
Yeah, we just have to make sure we get people next time. That's all.
Yeah. Oh, where is my thing? Wait a minute. Let me get it. Come on, good thing. I just want to see if there's anything significant I had here. Okay, so where am I? Oh, there it is. So Britain is considering taking back control of their borders. And then Mondami, we already talked about that, 15 million for trans health care.
Hmm.
And there's about 15 to 20,000 people who need prosthetics who
Hmm.
don't get it. And then I further, because Grace, I was talking to her about it, she says, well, they can get handled by Medicaid. So I researched that, and Medicaid does do support for people who have that kind of disability.
Hmm.
But what they do is they got wheelchairs mostly. They buy a lot of you can't get the stats from them about how many prosthetics they're doing, but they do put out information about how many wheelchairs they bought and distributed. So you see those around town from time to time, right? Somebody's walking around in I mean, it's got a motorized wheelchair or something, you know, that kind of a thing. That's the only thing that's really happening with Medicaid.
Hmm.
But so I just had, and part of it, just to be honest, is it was coincidental. A friend had a nephew who's basically been an alcoholic. Oh, that's what happened. So he got beat up, and they couldn't he had to get his arm removed below the elbow because it was too, a gout. I don't know what. It was too much. They had to get rid of it, otherwise it would have killed him. So I think so that now he's in the market for prosthetics.
Oh
And
wow.
yeah, yeah. So it's a coincidence. Well, let's see what else. Oh, Gavin. What do you think about Gavin? That's the other thing. I mean, it seems to me, or like other people complain about it, that is other than most of the Democrats, and they say it in the ads. I've seen the ads, people running. Please send me money. I'm the only guy in Georgia running as a Democrat, and I'm the only one here that can help stop Trump and stop Trump. People put that in their campaign. I'm here. I can stop Trump. But that's it. You don't hear them talk about any positive thing that they're going
No,
to do.
I don't agree with that. That's not true. I mean, you're not paying attention to
Well, I mean,
what these people are arguing in the primaries.
oh,
It's
yeah, you
just
mean
it's just not it's just not focusing on Trump. They're basically hammering away at the affordability issue, which is reasonable. And that's what's going on. And he's very vulnerable. I mean, I went in yesterday
yeah,
to buy a watermelon.
yeah,
I couldn't believe how much the fucking watermelon was. It was $30.
yeah,
Said forget about it. And then I wanted to buy. I like fresh orange juice. I went into Zabar's. They charged $15 for fresh orange juice, and it had gone up from about $8 or $9. It
yeah,
went up almost 50% in
yeah.
the past couple of months. So I said, forget it. This is ridiculous. The Republican Party is out of touch with what is happening with the rise of food and prices. It's really crazy. It's really crazy.
And the responsibility is the Republican
I
Party.
don't think it's responsibility. I would not totally lay it on them completely, but there's a lot of issues to be raised about it. Anyway,
No, no, I understand, but they're not coming up with a solution. They're just labeling the problem and blaming, uh, Trump or whoever they can blame. But they're not
mm.
coming up with a solution other than uh, tax the rich. That's the major complaint. That's the major story. Are you talking about the social democrats that have been running? The
I
three
would say
social
that
democrats.
even the Democrats that are, the ones that are being ousted. I mean, everybody's making a big deal about these races in New York State and New York City in particular. And then what just happened in the case of Colorado?
Yeah, I saw that.
I don't know enough about the race in Colorado. I do know enough about the races in New York.
Yeah,
And it was just not a bunch of lefty yuppies who voted. I mean, yeah, I would say the younger age cohorts were probably bigger percentage wise, but it was across the board in many cases in each of these districts that voters, black and Hispanic voters, uh, less so in the district where Darlisa Chevalier was. That I think she did not get the majority of the Dominican vote up there, but she did get the majority of the black vote, and she got a lot of other people who are younger voting for. So it's sort of interesting to see these rumblings going on with the electorate. They really are angry about people that are associated with getting donations from big corporations. And the other thing that's interesting is the issue of Arab-Israel relations and Palestine. That's clearly impacting on these races. It's very interesting. It's, like 5 years ago, that wouldn't have been the case.
yeah,
Yeah.
right. So okay, so that's doesn't the major center of the Democratic Party consider that like the social democrats to be an extreme left wing part of the say they're part of the
I
Democratic
don't
Party?
know. The DSA people, I mean, I did actually something on Monday about that. I actually posted it. I sent it out. I had a political scientist from the University of Buffalo who was very smart, and I had two people from the Working Families Party that were one of the organizations that actually helped get these guys elected in New York State. And we were talking about that. And, the question is, can you generalize from New York about all the rest of the country? And the woman from the Working Families Party is basically saying, well, there are elements that you can generalize, and that is that people don't want to sit there and do nothing. They want to do something positive in terms of their vote. So hence, they don't want to be sort of paralyzed with, oh, we can't do anything against Trump. He's so powerful. They're expressing themselves. At least that's her interpretation in all these different races. But then you got people like that guy up in Maine, that guy Graham Palanter. I mean, he's sort of a different kind of candidate altogether. So it's sort of interesting to see how people are reacting to all these things around the country. Really interesting.
Yeah. Well, I think that there was a lot of pundits who said that's why Trump got elected, and people
Oh
were
yeah,
the
no doubt
Democrats
about
and
it.
Republicans, and here's a wacko, unpredicted, off the board, just a TV businessman and a wise ass. Well, let's see what happens. Give it to him. We're tired of the other guys with all their theories and their agendas. So that's why he got it. So you're saying that it's the common denominator is they're not the same thing as that's in power now. They could be.
Well, that's how the voters. That's how. I mean, it just depends on how you're going to analyze objectively what happened. Like Colorado, I don't know enough about Colorado. I'd be curious to see what the statistics are in terms of voting in Colorado to see how this woman won. This woman who got nominated for the Senate, I think for a House or Senate, I forget what it was, House race. And then you got Bennett. The guys like Senator Bennett got defeated by, I guess, a more moderate Democrat, not someone who's associated with DSA. But the Republicans, of course, want to make a big deal about DSA because they can then, like Trump saying they're all a bunch of communists and all that stuff. We have to, they immediately came out with that threat to galvanize their base. But people, I don't know. It's just going to be interesting to see how people react to that. Whether people say, the hell with it, who cares? You guys aren't, guys aren't real dealing with why people are getting elected like this. And I think that's accurate. I think the Republicans are having a real hard time. Uh, they're going to have a harder time because if Trump is so out of it in terms of his relations to everyday people, when you read that book, Regime Change by Maggie Haberman and Jonathan Swan of the New York Times, it sort of gives you a sense that Trump is very isolated. He's only listening to people who tell him what he wants to hear.
Uh-huh.
That, of course, is not good. That's not good for any political leader.
Yeah, well, there's lots of isolated people. Biden's very isolated, didn't come out of the room,
Yeah,
and
Biden. Well, we're not dealing with Biden anymore. We're dealing with Donald Trump.
I know, but there's lots of political leaders that have been isolated.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. But like Trump, of course, probably doesn't see himself as isolated.
No, because he goes to a lot of rallies.
Yeah, yeah. We'll see more of that. He'll probably have a big campaign to try to make sure that he retains control of the House. But I don't put it past him. I think he's going to pull some shit if he loses control of the House.
If he
Or else,
loses control of the House.
oh yeah, I think he's going to play games and declare the election invalid. And this time he's going to act on it with the power of the executive branch in a way he didn't do back in 2020. So we're going to be in for one hell of a ride. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's that's quite possible. Now, what about what's happening in Europe? I mean, there were some riots in France and England, and some of it about immigration. You know, protesting. Germany's changing their policy, and
Oh, they're all reacting to these domestic situations because they have the rise of the right wing in all these different countries that have been totally related to the rise of migration. The same kind of trends we see in the United States, but in the case of Germany, of course, it's when Angela Merkel let in 1 million refugees from the Middle East mainly. And that changed a lot of domestic politics in Germany. But, again, it gets into the questions in our society about what does it mean to be an American? I mean, everybody came except Native Americans from other parts of the world. And, so what does it mean to be American? And, what do you have to do to prove you're American? And, and that I think is, the other issue is, are we seeing well, I personally think politically we're seeing the response to the change in the demographics of the United States. That is, white Europeans are becoming a minority demographically. And then you also have these fears being played on by the right wing about the replacement theory that is all going to be replaced by non-white people. And you get some of these ridiculous comments. I mean, truly, insane racist bullshit out of these people about that. And, I don't know. It's just, you hear, like, for example, you listen to Piers Morgan, he always just have these Americans on from the right wing who think that London's going to hell in a handbasket because it's a multicultural city. Now, you are living right now in a multicultural city like the one you came from in Los Angeles.
yeah,
And, can one say that New York is like crippled by all these different people from around the world? I don't think so. I think it's made a better place. And,
uh-huh.
and then the problem in New York is, for example, the rents. Uh, I'll give you an example. Somebody who lives in a building right now that has been bought by a luxury real estate company, she is under rent stabilization. So her rent's about $2,500 a month. The people who are on free market rents, which about half the people in New York City, in that building, for a 2-bedroom apartment, they're paying about 5,000 or 6,000 a month. The new landlord wants to increase the rent on the two-bedroom apartments to $8,000 and $11,000 a month.
Hmm.
Now, if this is what these billionaires who are all upset about Mamdani are complaining about, really fuck them. I mean, really, like, I hope that there is enough agitation among the free market tenants, which are tenant basically
No, no,
up
he was doing it. He was doing us. His
is stable.
motions are for regulated properties, not for.
Right, right, right. But you got the free market tenants who don't have any protection at all.
But they could do what they want. That's right.
They
That's
can
the free
screw them
market.
any way they want, and so that I
Absolutely.
think is equally screwed. That's really screwed up. And then the question is how do they politically change the law in Albany because it has to be done to the state legislature
Uh-huh.
and put pressure. And that's a lot of political agitation and work. But some people who are making that kind of stuff, some people can afford $11,000 a month, but some people can't. I know one guy in that building pays with his mother. He'll be paying $16,000 a month in rent.
Yeah. Why
That's
don't
pretty
they move
crazy.
to a more reasonable place?
Well, that well,
I
well,
I just
what,
saw an
what's
ad.
reasonable?
I just saw an ad of reasonable apartments, 2 bedrooms for 3,200. It's in Pelham.
Yeah,
Okay, they may be somewhere else. They're not necessarily downtown, around 42nd Street or
yeah,
Madison Avenue. They may
yeah.
be
Well,
an hour away,
yeah, I
but
know.
a half hour away. In fact, I have a niece that I'm not mentioning her name or anything. And she was working for a large broker, and they broker as a technical, not a broker, IT type stuff. And they went to you have to come into work, but they moved to New Jersey. So where she's living is far out, and she would have to go to New Jersey. Okay, so she picked another place because that she doesn't have to go every day, and she comes back here and stays with us some nights because it's only 15 minutes away by the path. So if you can find cheaper property somewhere in New Jersey or Staten Island or whatever you have to do to accommodate yourselves to find reasonable rents. And I swear to God, I didn't save it or anything, but it was showing rents around the city for in new buildings and the newish buildings, not dilapidated properties. 2 bedrooms, 3 bedrooms, 2 bedrooms, 1 bedroom, and studios, all under 3,200 was the highest for the 2 bedrooms, and may not be an ideal thing. And like when I was up there at that music thing, like 138th Street or whatever the hell it was, it's good properties there. It's just looked like a reasonably safe neighborhood. You got to watch yourself a little bit. But when I was going to college, I lived in Spanish Harlem. I didn't try to go live on Fifth Avenue and 59th Street. I was living on 2 blocks away from Spanish Harlem, or all the way over on Avenue One or Avenue Two. I don't even remember the name of it, but it was a 4-story walk up. And people say it's too expensive, and I don't have an elevator, and I want a French door fridge, and I want air conditioning and blah. It's not fair. It's not fair. But you got to make do with what you got to make do. And if you try to please everybody, then everybody's going to wind up eating beans and rice, because that's equity. That's equivalence. So I say, and in L.A., same thing. If you go east of L.A., instead of paying $1.5 million for a property, you can buy something for 250,000. And in Georgia, you can buy something for 50,000. And in Pennsylvania, you can buy something for 10. I got a friend who bought a 2-story piece of shit house, or 3 stories, for $10,000 on her credit card, and she wound up living there too. So it's not everything. And there's a program on TV about these 2 guys who go to Detroit, buy a house for 10 to 40,000 and renovate it. You know, and that's money. They got to throw about 150,000 in, but it's there. And I got friends who are buying houses like that too. So you can't just point out this house is $13,000 a month for a studio apartment. Plus, you got to pay for parking, and you got to pay gas and electric, and water. You have to pay for the water too, and everything else, and
Yeah.
cable TV. I got to have cable TV. So, yeah, can find lots of rich. I'm in a kind of like ritzy place here. How about your apartment? Is it ritzy or is it rent control where you're living? Not your apartment
So
that you own it, but where you're living.
where I live, it's I wouldn't call it rent controlled,
Yeah,
but um, I'm not paying anywhere near
you
those kind
pay.
of rents.
You're
Uh,
down. You're
I,
down like $1,000 or less.
a little bit more than that, um, but still, it's ridiculous. I mean, because um, even this neighborhood's gentrifying. The South Bronx is definitely gentrifying,
Yeah,
and the whole idea that um, has been being argued for 50 years that okay, so what, you don't have a right to live in Manhattan because if you can't afford it, the hell with you. I grew up in Manhattan,
yeah.
so I resent that. Manhattan was where I grew up. Now I could never afford to live in the village anymore, nor would I want to. My mistake was not moving up to the Upper West Side when I had the opportunity. But it's basically it's ridiculous. I just don't have any sympathy for the landlords in terms of these kind of issues because again, what I just said, like having somebody's getting a rent increase of $6,000 in 1 month. That's nuts.
Uh huh.
I happen to know the guy.
Yeah.
So, and what are
Yeah.
they
So
doing?
the
They're
state could come
hiring
up with.
lawyers to fight it.
Yeah, the state could come up with a law that says under normal circumstances, an unstabilized property you cannot raise the rent more than 20% a year. You could just
Well,
make that's it. That's it. Shut up. You don't like it, sell the property.
it has to be passed at the state level, so that's where you're going to have a big fight.
Okay, well, the people up in Albany don't give a shit about what's happening in New York.
Well,
They'll
yeah.
do whatever's popular, whatever keeps them in office. If they've got enough political support, they'll do
Well, they
that.
will. They'll get money. Most local politics in America, at least up to recent years, where maybe it's changed, but it used to be most of the money came from real estate interests.
Most of the money, what?
All races in America.
Uh huh.
So maybe it's changed. Maybe it's different now with the growth of, look at the um, battles that are going on in these areas to set up the data centers.
Oh,
Um,
that's really
that's a
that's
whole other
another hot
issue.
topic, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. That's a whole
It's
other
not
issue to talk
it's
about.
not a friendly neighbor.
No,
There's a
no.
lot of noise, and they steal, and they're going to raise the rate of electricity,
Yeah,
and what they haven't. Nobody's even talked about the fact is there's going to be more people moving in. The labor, and I don't know how labor intensive it is,
well,
but
that's another question. The stress on the local economy.
maybe you can get by with five robots and one person.
Yeah,
It goes around with an oil cannon,
right,
oils the robot's armpits. But the because that happens in L.A. There's all this development,
right.
right? And they maybe they accommodate parking, make a garage down underneath for as many two cars per each unit, maybe. But they don't do shit about what's going to happen to the traffic when the cars come out.
Right.
You get traffic jams all over the place. And then more than that, how many dentists are there? Where do you have to go to get a dentist? Where do you have to go to buy groceries? And so forth. Because you're just deciding that you're going to increase the population in that area. But let's say playgrounds, you're going to make playgrounds. What about schools and so
Right.
forth and so on? You just can't say, well, we got more people coming in. We got to put them up. We got to put them up. No, I don't think so. I think
You're right
it's
about that.
considering a sane society and say we can only tolerate, oh, there you go. You could say a good standard would be, I'll just make a number like 5,000 people per square mile, something like that. Not 25,000, 5,000 people per square mile, including children, you know. Don't forget to count the children, you know. So but it's not necessarily logic. It's open market, free economy, making money. You're right. But you got to survive in that, you know. You don't survive. Nobody's slashing your tires or sticking you up every 2 minutes. That's good, and we're not suffering with hail. We never get you don't get much hail in New York. Maybe you get it once in a while. But so those are positive things you don't have to worry about. But you do have to worry about what about like Alex? He lives in Stuyvesant development.
Yeah.
I think that's regulated too.
Yeah, he's in a apartment where
His dad was.
he is. Yeah, it was his father's and parents' apartment, but he inherits it. So
Yeah, I
his
looked that up. Exactly what do you have to do to inherit a rent controlled apartment?
you have to be
You have to be part of a close family, like
you have to
mother,
prove that
father.
you lived there for for a
No,
certain
no,
amount of
just
years.
just 2 years, 2 years.
Yeah.
But it has to be first, one distance. Your parents, your children, your spouse. That's it. Not your cousin or your
Right.
brother or sister, but not your cousin. So that's the regulations, and you got to prove residency for 2 years. So
Right.
you were living with your parents or your
Right.
brother or your sister, whatever, and show that you paid bills or something,
Right.
maybe library cards. So that's because I was looking at that to see what was happening and how that's going to affect things.
Yeah, you have to show your taxes and things like that.
Yeah, yeah. So, okay, so there's regulations. That's you want to live here, you got to put up with that. You got to
And
put up with it.
I think it used to be that you just had to simply prove that. Maybe they've changed the law to limit it to immediate relatives. It used to not be like that. If you were living with somebody, let's say you're just living with somebody who's your lover or your roommate, you had to prove that you had uh, primary tenancy, and I guess it's 2 years. Uh, a couple of years ago, it was a little longer than that, but maybe it's changed. I'm not familiar with how it works now.
Yeah. So that doesn't do much if there was three kids living there. They can't all continue to live there when the parents
The
die.
amount of people who live in, I think he's under different rules because he lives in Stuyvesant Town. It may be a Mitchell Lama building. I don't know how they operate. But the amount of people who are living in rent controlled apartments these days in New York is maybe 20 to 30,000, if that, um, as opposed to rent stabilized, which is about, well over a million. So I don't know what category Alex falls in. Anyway, listen, Kenny, I'm going to cut out. So,
Okay, good enough.
uh,
That's fine.
so we'll make sure that we get more people. How long are you guys going to stay in New York?
Hey, we might not ever go home. I don't know. We enjoy slumming around the city, going to
Uh,
different places. We went. Listen to this. Have you ever heard of Snug Harbor?
yeah, sure.
Oh, did you ever go there?
Yeah,
Oh, really? That's unusual. That's on Staten Island.
yeah, I've been out there. It's nice out there.
It's an interesting thing, and they have a special segment of a museum about this one guy. I almost remember his name. It doesn't matter, but he was a artist who painted seascapes and boats, and amazing, just an amazing talent. The best thing I've seen in New York. Well, there was one other thing I've seen so far, but I mean, so Snug Harbor. So you find things like that. You go to places people don't usually go. Strange little place, Snug Harbor. Very interesting. Well, somewhat interesting. So we might stay for quite a while. I don't know. Grace says we'll stay unless the heat knocks us out. Today was pretty stuffy. Did
Yeah,
you?
well, it'll eventually, this will break in a week or so.
Yeah, I think
We'll
so.
see what happens.
What do you do? Well, I'll let you go in a second. What are you doing on the fourth? You going
I'm
anywhere?
not sure. Gail still is pretty much crippled.
Oh
Uh,
my God, I'm sorry to hear that.
she broke her knee,
Broke
so
her knee
yeah. Hmm.
on a fall or something?
Yeah, she went head first into grading and broke her
Into
knee
what?
about
Grading?
on May 6th on metal grading.
Oh yeah, okay. Geez, that's a shame. So that's operations, right? You're gonna fix it.
She's working on it. She's almost 6 to 7 weeks into the whole mess.
Yeah.
We'll see how it works. All right,
She's
Kenny, let me go, man.
okay. Goodbye. Go
Take
take
it easy
care of
now.
Dale.
Bye bye.
Bye. Okay, and that was Jim Dingman, and I, strung him along a little bit just to get some kind of dialogue going. It's somewhat interesting, and his viewpoints are kind of populist in the sense of like the working class or lower, poorer people, as opposed to the filthy rich pigs who exploit, take money from the poor, so that they can eat fancy meals. You know. Oh, where did I go? I got a meal tip. So if anybody is listening to this, I hope this word gets out. The Home Depot on 14th Street has two floors, and on the second floor, they have a uh, hot food delivery, a buffet, like a guy serving you. So for 14 bucks, you get your entree and two sides. Fantastic, very good. Chicken, steak, stew, salmon. Very good deal. And you're not going to finish it. You're going to take half of it home and spend another 2 days eating the same thing. So this this isn't like pauper stuff, where people are throwing out or selling bread that's 5 days old and it's starting to get so stale you can use it as a hammer. No, this is fresh food, and that's whole foods, which generally is identified as expensive, but it isn't, or not everything. Some things are ridiculously expensive there. There's another thing in Whole Foods. If you go to the frozen fish section, which is on the first floor of the basement, something like that, and you get fish squares, 2 pounds for $10. So it's like $5 a pound for pollock in little squares, like you would get if you went to McDonald's or someplace like that. Except these are better than you get in those fast food places. So they're around the town. I'm sure everybody's got his favorites. And I found another market that was moderate pricing according to my reality, and also has a buffet. A counter where you take food and pay by the pound. And that was Morton Williams, and they got about 8 different stores around the city. So you can go there. You can buy food from the buffet tables, which is only, I think it's $10 or $11 a pound. At Whole Foods, the buffet is usually $12 a pound. So even though I think eventually there's going to be a deflation, which will be alerted on the basis of special sales and special dinners and a special luncheon and a special this and a special that, and that's how the prices will start to come down. And if competition exists between different distributors, I'm hoping for that, because inflation is an enemy to anybody that wants to have a stable life, so they can plan the future. and you got $50 and you know what you can do with it, and it'll be the same $50 in a month instead of 50 cents. Okay, that's all. I am practicing speaking on as a solo monologue, and being able to go on and sort of develop more of a individual personality, so I can maybe do more podcasts on certain issues. And like what? Well, let me just make a note of this here. I think I don't know how many minutes we've been into this. I don't know if I have an indication of that. Oh, there it is. I've been on this an hour and a half. Okay, so an hour and a half. I want to point out what I was saying about Mondavi and the $12.5 million for transgender medical care. And when I saw that, I said, you know, if somebody wants to get and convert from one gender to another, fine, as long as it doesn't interfere with everybody's life that they all have to bend over and accommodate the person. And there's been a history. Part of that is in theater and movies. There's been a long history of men pretending to be women on the stage, in movies. Tyler Perry has a career where he plays his mother, or as a fat black woman. I don't know if it's supposed to be his mother. And historically, men would play female parts, and sometimes females would play male parts in Shakespeare plays. And so all of that, and who cares who wears a dress or not? In some countries, everybody wears dresses, you know. Most of the Islamic countries, men wear, dresses, sheets, big covers, like that. There's not much difference between what the men wear and the women wear. Or maybe I'm wrong about that, correct me. But it's not that. It's a question of, does this mean that I have to buy them the clothes or pay for the special medicines or the cosmetics that they need or the operations that they seek to get? It's, to me, that's equivalent to saying, well, here's a lady and she's decided that her life will be a lot better if she gets her cheeks pointed up and her nose shortened and her eyebrows turned into just a painted line. Do I have to pay for part of that? Is that a concern of the public to handle? It's, if it is a concern, and then that should be handled and considered, instead of saying it's isolated and only for those people who are going to have a sex change. What about a woman? It's very hard to be a woman in the society because they have the extra burden of having to be attractive, and that's to a degree, to some degree, see what kind of cards you got dealt when you were born, and see what kind of cards you got when you grew up. What kind of a life did you have? There's a safe and good nutrition and so forth. So it may be very practical in terms of a therapy to say, okay, we're gonna reinvent you. We're gonna give you a new makeup or new appearance, and because it's going to help you mentally and spiritually. Okay, fine. Doesn't have to be only dedicated to people who want to transfer, don't want to be the gender that they have been. And that's why, as soon as I read that he wants $12 million targeted to help people change their sex, I said, wait a second. How many people need prosthetics? I'm talking about, I lost my arm, I need a new arm. Or I lost 5 fingers or something, I need a glove, a hand. Okay? or my head's stuck like this. I need some kind of an operation to keep my head up so I'm not walking around and down like this all the time. And I can't afford it. Okay? So I looked that up and pushed it down to, well, and what about Medi-Cal? Medi-Cal, and what about Medicaid, and how's it going there? And the bottom line is, in New York City, there are somewhere between 50 and 20,000 people who need prosthetics. That's the device, an arm, a leg, a hand. 15 to 20,000, that's the estimate. You go look it up yourself. I might be over or under. And when it goes further down into Medicaid, Medicaid won't give you the statistics of how many prosthetics, mechanical hand or arm. They won't give you that, but they will say it's called DMEs, special devices that are to handle people who have disabilities. And basically, what they're talking about is wheelchairs for somebody to get around town on a wheelchair. You've seen lots of people, or not lots. You occasionally see somebody on a wheelchair rolling around the city who's been a support person. I'm not talking about, well, also too in a wheelchair with an attendant rolling them around. So that's covered by Medicaid. So there's a budget for that. But there isn't a budget to really address the unfortunate situation of somebody who lost a limb or a foot or a leg. And that to me is, this is a prejudicial decision, this is a personal viewpoint. That to me deserves more compassion and attention than somebody who says, I don't want to be a boy, or I want to be a girl, or I don't want to be a girl, I want to be a boy. It's fine to feel that way, and it's fine to act that way, and it's fine to get some sponsor to help you alter your reality. Personally, I don't think it's appropriate to deny or consider it a problematic thing, although to some degree it still is. People to look down. Some people consider nose jobs to be, or breast enhancements, or Botox, or there's a lot of celebrities I've noticed that get their cheeks pushed up because it's more attractive. So women, it's 2026. You're going to see that. You're going to see people wearing contact lenses that change the color of their eyes. And, men and women both use all kinds of perfume and cologne. And teeth. You can get a new set of teeth now, in 24 hours. So on and so forth. And change the color of your skin and go to the sauna and put on this and put on that. So it's a very it's a very broad-spread, ubiquitous practice to enhance your appearance with artificial means. That's fine. Do it. But I don't consider that it should be that changing people's sex should be given such a high priority over people who have unfortunately lost limbs. And that's, anybody could argue with me on it. And I don't have the right to make a dictation on it. But it's my opinion that it's foolish to be paying that when all the evidence is it doesn't work in 90% of the cases or 80% of the cases. Suicides continue, people change their minds and so forth. And it's one-way conversion. You can't go back and forth. You can't screw this in. Oh, I don't like it. Unscrew it. Screw something else back in. I don't think. So that's a prejudicial viewpoint I have. But I think we're all entitled to have prejudicial viewpoints, which means you've evaluated it and you've decided you made until otherwise until otherwise I change my mind because of something I perceive or think about or have been shown or find out. Until otherwise, I think this is better than that, and or this doesn't deserve any attention compared to that. That kind of a thing. Let's fix the broken windows before we get a new shade for the lamp. That kind of a thing. You know, make a decision. Okay, that's enough of me just talking, basically to myself because I'm looking at the camera's view and it's getting recorded. So that's enough of me talking. And one of the things I have to do is work on my articulation and say, that's enough of me talking, rather than it's enough of me talking. Okay. All right. Good night to everybody, and hope to see you next week. Bye bye.